YouTube? It is your boy Javon. We're back here with another video, and we're actually recording this time, thankfully. But yeah, we're here with another reaction video. And today we will be reacting to laws that only exist because of one insane accident. And this video is by Chill Dude Explains. I'm pretty sure we reacted to a few of his videos before. Always super interesting. Always learning something new. So let's get right into it. Shout out to Chill Dude Explains.
Number 9. The Plimsoll Line. Imagine you're a sailor in the 1800s, and your boss tells you to load the ship with as much cargo as possible. The ship sits so low in the water that waves are washing over the deck, but your boss is actually hoping the ship sinks. Back then, ship owners would deliberately overload their vessels, get them insured for way more than they worth, and wait for a tragic accident. These death traps were called coffin ships.
Yo, that is fucked up. Hold up. They would purposely try to sink the ships because the
Enter Samuel Plimsoll, a guy who got so angry about this that he had a meltdown in Parliament. In 1875, during a speech about sailor safety, the government tried to delay his safety bill. He completely lost it. He started calling ship owners villains right there on the Parliament floor. He was jumping up and down, waving his arms. His public freakout worked. The newspapers loved it. The public got behind him, and the government created the Plimsoll Line. If the line goes underwater, the ship's too heavy. Ship owners hated it because it meant they couldn't overload their ships anymore. But Plimsoll wasn't done. He started publishing the names of every MP who owned shares in these coffin ships. This line is still on every cargo ship today. Look for a circle with a line through it on the side of ships. That's the Plimsoll Line. And it exists because one guy got so mad about corrupt ship owners that he nearly threw hands in Parliament. Number 8. Lawn darts. Lawn darts were foot-long metal spikes with plastic fins. The game involved throwing these weighted spears high into the air, aiming for plastic rings on the ground. These metal spikes could pierce a skull. The tips were so sharp and the darts so heavy that they could penetrate up to 3 inches into the ground, or whatever else they happened to hit on the way down. In 1987, 7-year-old Michelle Snow was playing in her backyard. She wasn't even playing with lawn darts. She was just in the wrong place when one came down from the sky. The dart pierced her skull, and she died 3 days later.
Fuck! Fuck, I did not want to hear that. No, I did not. Really, that's the outcome we get?
Her father, David Snow, discovered that over 6,700 people had been sent to the emergency room because of lawn darts. The majority of them were children. This was just in an 8-year period. Snow launched a crusade against lawn darts. When the Consumer Product Safety Commission suggested warning labels, he told them, "You might as well put a warning label on a hand grenade." In December 1988, lawn darts were completely banned in the United States. You can't sell them, import them, or ship them across state lines. They're now legally classified as dangerous weapons. Today, vintage lawn darts sell for hundreds of dollars on auction sites.
Let me get a lawn dart.
Shipping them is still technically illegal. All because one grieving father refused to let his daughter's death be in vain. Number 7.
I respect it, though.
The jungle and America's first food safety laws. You're enjoying a nice juicy hot dog in 1905, but your hot dog might contain dead rats, sawdust, and even human fingers. Back then, food companies could put literally anything they wanted in their products. Want to add sawdust to bulk up your bread? Sure. Need to hide the smell of rotting meat? Just dip it in chemicals. Got a worker who fell into the meat grinder? Well, protein is protein. Writer Upton.
Oh, what? Oh, no.
Sinclair went undercover in Chicago's meatpacking plants for 7 weeks. What he saw was so horrifying that he wrote a book called The Jungle. He described workers falling into meat grinders and being turned into lard. When President Theodore Roosevelt read this, he sent his own investigators. They came back and said it was even worse than the book described. The public was disgusted. So in 1906, Congress passed the Pure Food and Drug Act. This law said you couldn't put poison in food, and created what would later become the FDA. Now when you eat a hot dog, you can be reasonably sure there aren't any human fingers in there. Number 6.
Can you, though?
The Grand...
What the hell is a hot dog anyways, bro? I know it's like, oh my gosh, never mind. Let's not get into that talk. Dude, the FDA is barely doing their job, if we're being honest, man. Like, they're doing somewhat of a good job, but we still have way too many, like, unnecessary things in our food that are just, like, killing us slowly.
Grand Canyon mid-air collision. 2 planes carrying 128 people total collided mid-air over the Grand Canyon in 1956. Not a single person survived. Both pilots were following the rules perfectly. Back then, there was no real air traffic control system. The rule was basically, look out your window and try not to hit anything. They called it
what?
See and Avoid. United Airlines Flight 718 and TWA Flight 2 took off just minutes apart. Both pilots decided to give their passengers a scenic view of the Grand Canyon because there were no rules against it. The TWA pilot radioed in saying he was flying 1,000 on top, meaning he was flying 1,000 feet above the clouds. The United pilot said the same thing. They were both at exactly the same altitude, with both planes doing about 350 miles per hour. Neither pilot had time to react when they finally saw each other. The collision was so violent that pieces of both planes were scattered across 1.5 square miles of the canyon. This disaster forced Congress to create the Federal Aviation Agency.
What are we doing now, man? Come on. That was... Buddy said, I'm just going to take these guys on a fucking scenic view route of the Grand Canyon because why not? No, brother. Follow the course of path, man. Follow the path.
Before this, commercial aviation was basically the Wild West with wings.
Insane.
After this, every flight had to be tracked, every altitude had to be assigned, and every pilot had to follow strict rules. Their tragedy literally rewrote the rules of the sky. Number 5. The Station Nightclub Fire. The band Great White decided to spice up their show with indoor fireworks at the Station nightclub in Rhode Island back in 2003. The walls were covered in cheap foam insulation that was as flammable as gasoline-soaked cotton. Within seconds, the foam caught fire. Within minutes, the whole place was an inferno. The fire spread so fast that some people thought it was part of the show. The club only had 4 exits, but everyone rushed to the front door they came in through. The front door became so jammed with people that it created a human plug. People were stacked 6 feet deep in the doorway. The whole place went up in flames in under 6 minutes. 100 people didn't make it out that night. 230 others were injured. The nightclub was technically up to code. Because it was built before modern fire codes, it was grandfathered in. No sprinkler system was required. The foam on the walls was totally legal at the time. A news reporter was there filming a piece about nightclub safety. This footage is now used to train firefighters and security staff worldwide. It shows how a fire can turn a fun night into a nightmare in less time than it takes to microwave a barbecue burrito. This disaster led to new national fire codes for nightclubs, requiring sprinklers and banning flammable interior materials. Number 4. The Elixir sulfanilamide disaster. Imagine it's 1937, and your kid has a sore throat. You take them to the doctor who prescribes this new medicine called Elixir sulfanilamide.
Elixir, like from Clash Royale?
Medicine looks legit. It's from a real pharmaceutical company, prescribed by a real doctor. But within hours of taking it, your child starts feeling sick. Their kidneys are shutting down, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. This actually happened to over 100 people, mostly children. In 1937, Massengill Company had an antibiotic called sulfanilamide, but it only came in pill form. Their chief chemist dissolved it in diethylene glycol to make it a drinkable liquid. He only checked if it looked good, tasted good, and smelled good. No animal testing, no safety studies, because back then, it wasn't required by law. The company shipped 240 gallons across the country. What they didn't know was that diethylene glycol is basically antifreeze. They could only recall the medicine because they called it an elixir without alcohol, making it technically misbranded. If they'd called it a solution instead, they couldn't have recalled it at all. This disaster created the 1938 Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. For the first time, companies had to prove their drugs were safe before selling them. That safety warning on your medicine bottle exists because it took the deaths of over 100 people, mostly children, to make it happen.
So we weren't gonna test anything before we put it out there? Like, you're telling me we would have never figured something out? Or why didn't we figure, like, motherfuckers just try things? That's crazy.
Number 3, the Amber Alert. January 13th, 1996. Arlington, Texas. 9-year-old Amber Hagerman is riding her bike in a grocery store parking lot.
Shit.
A neighbor working in his yard sees a black pickup truck pull up next to Amber. A man jumps out, grabs her, and speeds away. The neighbor calls the police immediately. But back then, there was no system to quickly alert the public about child abductions. No emergency broadcasts, no phone notifications, nothing. 4 days later, Amber's body was found in a creek bed. Her killer was never caught. Her mom turned her grief into action. She went to radio stations asking why they could warn people about bad weather, but not about kidnapped kids. The Dallas-Fort Worth broadcasters created the first Amber Alert.
Yo, hold up. She actually kind of cooked with that one. She just kind of cooked with that one. He just got a
system.
He said he just
Amber
got
stands
one.
for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency
odds,
Response
yeah,
and is named after Amber Hagerman. When a child is abducted,
crazy.
Law enforcement sends out an alert. Your phone buzzes, highway signs light up, radio and TV stations interrupt their programs, and suddenly, millions of eyes are looking for that missing kid. Since 1996, Amber Alerts have helped save over 1,100 children. Now, if a kid under 17 is in danger, the alert goes out, because as Amber's case taught us, every minute counts. Number 2, reinforced cockpit doors. The cockpit door on a 1990s airplane was basically made of cardboard and wishes. It was so flimsy that a determined toddler could probably kick it down. Airlines back then were more worried about pilots getting trapped in an emergency than keeping bad guys out. The doors were designed to break easily. Pilots could even leave the door open during long flights to chat with passengers. Then 9/11 happened. Congress passed a law requiring all commercial planes to install reinforced cockpit doors. These new doors are basically mini bank vaults. They're bulletproof, blast-proof, and can withstand the force of a 250-pound man repeatedly charging at them. They've got steel bolts that can withstand 1,500 pounds of pressure, but the doors can be too secure. In 2015, a German Wings pilot locked his co-pilot out of the cockpit and deliberately crashed the plane. The reinforced door worked exactly as designed. Nobody could get in, which was exactly the problem. Now many airlines have a rule of 2, requiring that 2 crew members are in the cockpit at all times. It's a constant balance between making doors strong enough to stop a hijacking, but not so strong they can't get in if something goes wrong inside. Number 1, the Iroquois.
Yeah, man, that's kind of, dude, that's kind of crazy, man. I don't even know how to go about that. Yeah, where is the balance? I was gonna say, why don't you just have like an officer maybe in the cockpit as well? But that might not be good as well. That might be an awful idea. Let me not.
Theater fire. Picture this. It's December 30th, 1903. You're at Chicago's brand new Iroquois Theater. The place is packed with families enjoying a holiday show. The theater owners are bragging about how this place is absolutely fireproof. During the second act, a stage light sparks and catches some curtains on fire. The exits are all locked because the owners didn't want people sneaking in without paying. The doors opened inward. So when hundreds of panicked people pushed against them, they became impossible to open. The fireproof asbestos curtain that was supposed to protect the audience got stuck halfway down. Within minutes, the whole place turned into a death trap. Over 600 people died that day. Most of them were crushed trying to escape through doors they couldn't open. The law requiring all public buildings to have outward opening doors with panic bars came from this incident. Those illuminated exit signs that have to stay lit, even if the power goes out, started here. The requirement for fire curtains to be tested daily came from this disaster. Even those "this door must remain unlocked during business hours" signs exist because of what happened at the Iroquois. Before this fire, theater owners actually argued against having too many exits. They said people would use them to sneak their friends in for free. After 600 people died because they couldn't escape, that argument didn't work anymore. Countless modern fire safety laws were written in the blood of those victims. That's all for today.
Wow, man. That is insane. Yo, chat, did you guys learn anything from that video? I definitely did. That is crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie, though. Like, why were some of these laws not put into place before action was taken? Like, I feel like, you gotta test medicine on something before you just throw it out to the public. Why are we just throwing things out to the public before testing them? And then the fire thing one, why? I don't know, the door shit, bro. Like, having inward, outward doors, and just being oh my god, imagine suffocating because you just are trying to fit through a freaking door while there's 8 or 10 people trying to escape at one time, and you guys just jam each other. Oh, awful, awful, awful. W video.